Hi, I'm Shane from the Midgard Viking Brotherhood. I'm part of the ALBA ÆSIR group. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be releasing a video per week talking about mental health. In a moment, I'm going to tell you a bit about my own personal experience. For a long time, I struggled with anxiety and depression. I spent a good 10 years as a recluse. First, I just want to speak about getting yourself the right kind of help. Not everything works for everybody. There's a lot of options out there. People talk about speaking to a close friend or a family member. There's counselling, there's bereavement counselling, there's all different types of things that people want you to go and try. What's important is finding the correct one that helps you. I'll tell you a little bit about my own personal experience. When I had not long turned 20, I'm now 33. When I just turned 20, I had a bereavement in the family. It didn't affect me right away. It wasn't until a few weeks later I went for a job interview and I took a panic attack. At the time I didn't realise that's what it was. I just thought I wasn't feeling well. I was sweating, I was dizzy. The person doing the interview actually thought I had taken drugs or something. That wasn't the case. Inevitably, I didn't get the job. So I left. I made my way home. I was still. My heart was racing. I couldn't focus properly. It wasn't until I got home that I managed to calm myself back down. Again, I just thought I wasn't well. The next day I was going to Glasgow. I was going up on the train. I was meeting up with a few friends. I ended up taking a panic attack on the train. I had to go off at the next stop. Try to figure out how I was going to go home from there. Ended up having to phone my dad. My dad came and picked me up. Still in full panic mode the whole way home. Wasn't until I got home then I was fine. Ended up my mum phoned the doctors. They made me see a bereavement counsellor. That didn't work. At the time I didn't believe in that kind of thing. Didn't believe counselling worked for anybody. So then after that I became a recluse. Took me a good few years to try anything else. It was a few years later I got prescribed propranolol and citalopram. That didn't work, just made me tired. Had the opposite effect from what I wanted. Ended up sleeping all day, wouldn't leave my room. So I stopped taking them. A few years later, still a recluse. I get put on fluoxetine. That didn't work, just made me aggressive. Another few years, eventually I decided to try counselling again. But this time I done CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. That was working. That got me out of the house. To begin with, I was really bad. I would throw up just walking down the street. Panic would set in so bad that I would start gagging. I would throw up a mess. But it worked. It forced me out the house, and I had somebody there that knew what they were talking about, got me out the house, and that started me walking around my block basically. But that was on a time scale, and they didn't have the resources to give me more time to continue the therapy. So I took it upon myself, went and seen a counsellor, paid for it out of my own pocket. Initially I paid for it out of my own pocket, and that worked great because I was then in the right mind frame to actually open up and talk about the problems that I was having, the issues that was giving me the panic attacks and the depression and the vicious circle. So from there, I just kept building on what the CBT had started. Going out walks, meeting up with friends. I had a friend 2 doors away from me, and I hadn't stepped foot in his house for a good 5-6 years by this point. And I just kept pushing on. And that's what's important, is building on the good days that you have. It's hard, it's a real struggle, but you have to build on the good days that you have, because the bad days initially will outweigh the good days. So when you have a good day, the next morning, it's important to get yourself out of bed and go and push on again. Try something new, try something different. I continued to see the counsellor for on and off for about 3 years, and then I met an amazing person. She's now my partner. She helped with every aspect of it. She made sure I was getting out. She made sure I was going and trying different things. She travelled from Inverness to Glasgow to see me and helped me get out the house. Gave me a goal. We're now engaged and we have our own house. And we have a wee boy. It's a 1.5 years old. So it's, no matter how deep in you are, as I say, I was a recluse, wouldn't leave my bedroom, and now I've moved house from Glasgow to Inverness. It's 200 mile difference, and I'm now starting to look for work. It's been a long time coming. I'm 13 years on from when my family member passed, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not saying everyone is going to have a positive outcome that I have, but it's important to have that goal. It's important to see a light at the end of the tunnel. You have to keep believing in it. Next week I'm going to have a chat with one of the other members from the MVB, and I'll do that for the next few weeks. I'll speak to someone different. I'll get their story, and I'll ask them a few questions about the things that they've done to overcome their mental health problems, and hopefully from our experiences you'll find some sort of comfort and maybe some ideas to try for yourself. But don't lie down to it. Don't let the noise overcome the positives. Get the help that you need, whether it be counselling, whether it be a friend, whether it be some sort of therapy. There's a lot of options. I understand not all of them work for everybody, but just keep trying. That's all you can do. Medication, some of it didn't work for me. I'm now on sertraline. I'm on the minimum dose, but it works. It's helped me overcome a lot of things. Sometimes even just the idea of having the medication there can help. But don't be afraid to reach out. Midgard Vikings are doing a charity push, and right now it's on mental health. One of the things we're doing is on mental health. Feel free to reach out to one of us. We'll do our best to help you in any way we can, or even point you in the direction of some sort of help. But don't be scared to reach out. A lot of us have got a lot of experience with it. Myself, for example. Thanks very much for listening. I hope it helps you in some sort of way.